नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, केम छो? मैं करण मेहता आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं लेजेंड्स ऑफ डिजाइन के एक और नए एपिसोड में। लेजेंड्स ऑफ डिजाइन एक ऐसा शो है जो हमारे देश के दिग्गज आर्किटेक्ट्स की जिंदगी को सेलिब्रेट करता है। दोस्तों, हमारे आज के जो गेस्ट हैं उनको मैं इस मंच पे बुलाऊं उसके पहले मैं आप लोगों के सामने गीता का एक श्लोक पढ़ना चाहूंगा। कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन। गीता के इस श्लोक में श्री कृष्ण भगवान अर्जुन को यह कहते हैं कि तुम्हारा दायित्व है कर्म करते रहना, ना कि फल की चिंता करना। ठीक इसी श्लोक को दिल में रखते हुए हमारे आज के गेस्ट ने करीबन 50 साल पहले भारत की धरती पर अपने कदम रखे। उनका मकसद कभी भी पैसा या कभी भी शोहरत कमाना नहीं था, बल्कि उनका मकसद था अपने काम के जरिए ह्यूमैनिटी को सर्व करना। और बस इसी चाह को दिल में रखते हुए वो आगे बढ़ते गए और रास्ते अपने आप खुलते गए। There is one interesting story which I should share with you all. When I went to his office for the first time, I saw two flags on his desk. One was of a country that gave him birth and another was of a country that gave him purpose. दोस्तों, उस दिन जब मैंने उनके डेस्क पे इंडिया का फ्लैग देखा, उसी दिन मैं समझ गया कि ये इंडिया से और हमारे देश के लोगों से कितना प्यार करते हैं। उनका जन्म भले ही परदेश में हुआ हो, लेकिन दिल से वो 100% हिंदुस्तानी है। तो आइए देखते हैं हमारे आज के गेस्ट की एक छोटी सी झलक।
Professor Benninger came first time in 1968 when he was still at Harvard University. He was a tenured professor, and he came in 1971 permanently. What great teachers he could have had who told young man, if you live in America, all that you're going to be a teacher in Harvard and you will retire like the way we are retiring in a few years from now. They said, if you really want to make a difference, go to India. He wasn't looking for money. He wasn't looking for name or fame. He was just doing a service. He's 81. Sometimes he surprises us with all these things. He's still able to work. He has that zest for life, I think, which only sends a message to a lot of younger generations and to my generation that life doesn't get over at 60. In fact, it's a whole new life which begins at 60, which truly means that like he is born to be an architect.
So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for a man on a mission to serve the humanity through his knowledge. May I now call upon the living legend, architect Christopher Charles Benninger. Christopher sir, I thank you from the bottom of my heart to come here with us on the show Legends of Design.
Well, I'm honored to be here.
Sir, I can see, a totally Indian person in you. The topi that you're wearing, the shawl, the kurta pajama. What makes you love this country so unapologetically?
I think I love this country mainly because of the people and because of the different cultures which overlap and interact together. It's a place unique in the world. It's a place of freedom. It's a place of expression, creativity, and I think there's no place like India.
Okay, great. Sir, where did you get this cap?
You may not know, I'm not bald because I'm 81. I'm bald because I went to Tirupati.
Tirupati?
Yes, and I wanted to do a darshan at Tirupati for Balaji, and so I went there and my head was shaved, and then I thought, let me get this Himachal Pradesh cap to cover my tuklu. And then this comes from Saurashtra. I spent my early life in Gujarat. In fact, I gave a lecture in Ahmedabad about 2 days ago. And so this is the wonderful thing about India. You get something from the mountains, which is beautiful, something from Gujarat, and everything comes together in what we dress. We can all mix and match and dress as we like.
Amazing. This shows that Sir loves India so much. He actually knows everything about this country. Of course, and why not? He's been here for more than 50 years. So, yes.
But I'll tell you one more thing. Many people don't know I've applied for Indian citizenship,
Okay.
and I expect to get that within the next 1 month.
Wow. But why so late, sir? I mean, you could have.
Actually, it's much more difficult to become an Indian than to become an American.
Is it?
Oh, much, much more. We have no green card system here. There's no open sort of door for people to become Indians now.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So, we have these young kids over here. I'm sure you were also at one point of time their age. We would like to know, how was your childhood? Where were you born? How were you as a kid? Where did you study? Could you please share it?
okay, that's an interesting story. I think where you grow up when you're a child, that's the template of your life. If you have a good template, you're set to rise. And if you have a difficult template, life becomes difficult. Well, my father was a university professor, and I grew up in university towns. University towns are ideal towns. They're very small. In my school, 60% of the students' parents were teaching in the university, had PhDs, et cetera. So I grew up in Gainesville, Florida, which is a beautiful green city, and I think it was really wonderful. But some things happened when I was about 12 years old. My father said, listen, you may be the son of a university professor, but you should get a job. And I said, 12 years old, a job? He said, no, I know the owner of the newspaper here. And I've told him you can deliver newspapers. And he said, that's great, because in our neighborhood, the boy who delivered newspapers just quit. So my first job was at age 12, and I was delivering newspapers to 128 houses, small bungalows in my neighborhood. And it taught me entrepreneurship, saving, the joy of spending, being a consumer at a very young age. So I think that was a highlight of my youth. And I grew up in a beautiful, beautiful city.
First job at an age of 12 years, throwing newspapers to 125 houses every morning. Sir, was there a need to find a job for you, or that was just for a sense of getting some independence?
My father wanted me to learn how to be independent. He wanted me to respect work, and he wanted me to be one of the normal people of my country. Other newspaper boys came from very poor families. So it introduced me to a wide variety of kids and different economic groups, and there was no need whatsoever financially.
So moving forward, how were you as a student, and how did architecture happen?
Okay, first of all, I was a terrible student.
Okay.
I'm revealing something for the first time. I flunked 7th standard. But I flunked 7th standard when my father was a visiting professor in another city. So when I came back, I just repeated that 7th standard, and nobody in my class knew that I had already done 7th standard.
Okay.
Yeah? So I was a very poor student, very, very poor, never read a book, never liked to read, but I loved painting and art. And then when I was about 16 years old, my aunt gave me a book called The Natural House by Frank Lloyd Wright. The first book I ever read, cover to cover. After Christmas lunch, I went to my room, started reading, and I finished reading that book at 3 o'clock in the morning. I walked out of the house, looked at the stars in the sky, and said, I'm going to be an architect.
Okay.
So
That was your moment where you
it was a very important moment in my life, yeah.
Okay. So then, how were your college days? I'm aware that you were also a professor at the Harvard University.
See, I had many college days then. I first went to a state university, the University of Florida, where I had very devoted teachers. I mean, they were professional teachers. Only one of them was a good architect building, but they were good teachers. And then I went to Harvard, where I had the famous architect Jose Luis Sert. Jose Luis Sert started the first urban design course in the world. He was a great architect, and I also worked in his studio. And then later I went to MIT and studied planning. Kevin Lynch was a very well-known name. Everybody knows it today. And so I had great teachers, and I had people who were role models, and I could learn from them. What did they do in their lives? All of them, social issues were important for all of them. Humanitarian causes were important for them. And they were also great students. So I learned how to be a reader, a student, to be focused on things, and also to have an idea about humanity. Karan, one thing I've learned, that in life there's only one kind of good luck. And that good luck is to have good teachers.
Absolutely. As rightly said by sir, जिंदगी में कामयाब होने के लिए गुरुओं का मार्गदर्शन काफी जरूरी है.